Hi, Gali.
Hi, Abba. Welcome to
And
another Tuesday. Mwah.
and Tuesday.
Yes, and welcome to everybody that's on. We are
Yes,
live. Please do say hi if you're here. Let us know that you can see us and hear us okay. Hi,
yes, I see
JJ.
you.
Yeah, it's been a while and we missed you too. Love, love, love. How's the sound and the video quality? Let us know right in so that at least we're nice and clear. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, sounding great. Hi, Byron. Okay. And hello, Anita. Okay, fantastic. Hi,
Nita and
Lior.
oh, hi. Okay. So
Okay.
what are we talking about today, Bobby?
Today, we're talking about problems, big problems, and the problems that people have in life, and the problems that you end up having that you kind of are of long duration, they kind of carry on, and then people become a problem to themselves. So they start to almost destroy themselves, eat at themselves. So, kind of, that's how the progression will go.
Okay.
So, first of all, problems. And what is a problem? And why do problems come about? Let's start there.
Okay. So a problem is something that you consider that you cannot solve.
Right.
So if you prerequisite for solving any problem is the certainty that you can solve it, because otherwise why touch it? If you cannot solve it, why touch it? You will just make it worse. So that's the
Yeah.
first thing. Problem get created. Problems are the manifestation of break in communication. When communication break, the manifestation is a problem.
Yes. And just for people that don't understand manifestation, because a lot of people think manifestation means, oh, I manifested something because I thought about it. So, what do you mean something is the manifestation of something else?
It shows up as. So the side effect of problems is the side effect of a broken communication is problems.
Yeah.
So
So,
for
the source,
example,
yeah.
it's not the source. So
No,
you
no, what I
you
mean, like the source would be there's a communication issue, or that's the root cause. It
exactly
shows up as the manifestation is a
is a
problem.
problem.
Mhm.
Exactly. So
Right.
for example, let's say you have a problem with your spouse.
Hmm.
Uh, Somewhere along the line there was a problem with communication, and now you are arguing about whatever, about money, about the children, about the length of the hair, whatever, about any nonsense. It's always nonsense, by the way.
Yeah. 100%.
So you've got a problem, and a problem. In order to handle a problem, you need to assume that you can resolve it. So the solution of any problem is actually not in solving the problem, but in raising the ability of the person or his willingness to show his abilities. So the problem is a constant, and now you can raise the ability, and so the problem becomes small, or you can lower the ability and the problem become big. So for
Yeah.
useless people, anything is a big problem. You take a person that I don't know is really not producing, basically useless. So anything is a problem for him. He needs to tie the shoelaces. Oh, it's a big problem. Okay. You take a
Right.
busy executive. You take the president of not the United States. I'm talking about the real president.
Because he has problem tying his shoelaces, so it might not be the right example.
Exactly. But you take a president of a big corporation
Yeah.
or an entrepreneur, and you'll see that for him, nothing is a problem.
Hmm. Yeah.
Nothing is a
True.
problem because he is able, and he knows, okay, I can handle that, I can handle that, I can handle that, I can handle that. It's
Yes.
just when you assume that you cannot handle it, the problem become a problem.
Yeah. 100%. It's
And
amazing.
otherwise,
Go on. Go on.
another problem is not a problem, it's just a barrier. So the
Mhm.
difference between a barrier and a problem is something that you assume you cannot overcome, and a barrier is something that you know you can overcome.
Yeah, amazing. And I was going to say that it's a big difference to understand that the problem is a constant, and that it's just seemingly bigger based on your abilities.
Exactly. It's really amazing that most people try to lower the problems. You cannot lower your problem. You can increase your ability or lower your ability. You can change your viewpoint on the problem, and the problem change, because the problem do not change in reality. It's just the relationship between your ability and your problem. How much of your ability you're willing to demonstrate, and how much not. So it becomes so bad that you'll see that some people are a problem, which means they create problems, and
Hmm.
some people are the solution.
Yeah.
So you can be the spirit, the problem, or you can be spirit, the solution.
Hmm.
Spirit, the problem, is someone that is so weak that anything is a problem for him. Spirit, the solution, is he's so powerful that nothing could be a problem. Problem is not something that is possible for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's actually
Amazing.
inventing some games in order to make life interesting.
Yeah, I see. Now, there is such a thing though as a big problem or a small problem. Like for example, one person could have a small problem, which is tying the shoelaces. It's not even a problem. And that same person can have a big problem of, I don't know, a deal that went bad and they lost a lot of money. So to them, that's a big problem now.
Just got to do with the size of the ability. So a person that lost a lot of money, what is a lot of money? Let's say $1 million. So we take the problem, lost $1 million. For Jeff Bezos, lost $1 million. It doesn't mean anything.
Yes, now.
Because now he raised the ability, the financial ability, to a point where the problem is nothing. $1 million is nothing.
Hmm.
For someone else, $1 million is everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not the $1 million. It's your viewpoint on the $1 million. And the magic is, once you change the viewpoint, the problem is not a problem.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because
It
the
just becomes a
problem,
barrier.
lost $1 million, is a constant. I lost $1 million. Now, what do I do with that? One guy will say, okay, now I lost $1 million. It will take him 25 years to recover. And the end result will be that he will be willing to make small amount of money because
Hmm.
someone cheated him, and he is such a victim. And look what happened to me. And he will tell you again and again and again how someone cheated him. Da da da.
Hmm.
And another person will look at that and say, I lost $1 million. Fine, I'll make another 20.
Hmm. Hmm. Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So it's the viewpoint. You take people and they say, well, my mother did that to me, or my father did that to me. 25 years later, they're still crying about what my mother did to them at the age of 3. Come on. More or less at the age of 3.5, you should like, get over it. Stop talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a small problem, something that happened to them at the age of 3 or 6, and they cry and cry and cry and cry forever because they look at it and someone else. Something happened to me at the age of 3 or 6. Who cares? It's happened. So next,
Hmm. Yeah.
the
True.
view.
100%.
It's
It's
the
the viewpoint.
viewpoint. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Really.
see. And now, if you have somebody though that let's just not go extreme to $1 million, they find themselves in $20,000 of debt. Okay, and they're
Yeah.
looking at this. Them, they work a job that is limited in how much they earn. Maybe they make $50,000 a year, and their expenses are about $50,000 a year. But now they have this $20,000 of credit card debt. It's like and they're not an entrepreneur. They can't make their money fluctuate. How do they overcome that?
First of all, they need to know. They need to close themselves on the idea that there's a solution. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's really nothing.
Hmm.
Like, they should not worry. If I owe you money, you should worry, not me. So, there
Uh-huh.
was there's this guy that had to pay a big debt the next morning, and he didn't have the money, so he was like turning and turning in bed, and he every time he woke up his wife, so he had to pay this money for the neighbor, and he couldn't sleep. He couldn't sleep. So by 4 a.m., his wife like had, that's it, I'm done with that. She picked up the phone, called the neighbor, and says, my husband is not going to pay you tomorrow, and put down the phone. The husband said, "Are you crazy? What did you do?" She said, "No, he will not sleep. You can go to sleep."
Yes, exactly that. 100%. Let the neighbor worry. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really, there's nothing, nothing, nothing. Like anything can happen to you. Why worried? If it
true.
happened, it happened. Just
Yeah,
know
for
the
sure.
solution.
For sure. On the basis of, I mean, first of all, that's true. It makes total sense, right? You have this thing, and the person worries, and you should know that it will be okay. But you want to be a good person. You, of course, where you want to pay your debts, obviously. Now what? So you've closed yourself on, okay, I'm not going to worry, but I want to handle it. I need to pay this person back.
No problem. So now, once you know that there's a solution, there will be a solution. First of all, you start and say, okay, fine. So why only 50,000? What am I not working? Why am I getting only 50,000? How can I contribute more? And you will
Hmm.
see that this person that make only 50,000 per year actually don't really work. He's not willing to do what it takes to make money.
Hmm.
Even as an employee, he's not really contributing. He's not really going out of his way. He's not making himself uh, invaluable to the company. You
Yeah.
can take an account lady, and she can become so amazing, collect money, reduce the cost of the company, da 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 da, and she will become invaluable for the company. The company will pay her more, and she can come and say, "Look, I serve you so much, and I want to get paid by my results.
Hmm.
I want an increase."
Yeah.
And she can say, "Oh, fine, you know what? I'm very good with that. I'll open a company that will help some people with the same problem." And there's millions of ways to do it if you are willing to do what it takes. Most people are not willing to do it. They're coming at 8 o'clock to the office. They need to drink coffee. They need to talk. They play. They watch TV, Netflix. They watch Instagram. Half of the day, without they noticing, is on Instagram. Half of the day. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah. True. 100%.
Then at 5 o'clock, after they waste half of the day, they go home and they're wasting the rest of the day doing nothing, drinking, coming home. First thing they do, they drink. Oh, just a glass of wine. No, no, don't drink. Go produce.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
come, you come home at 5, 6. You've got from 6 until midnight, 6 hours to produce. It's another day.
Yeah.
Produce. So people don't have money because they are not willing to do what it takes to make money.
Hmm.
And so they have that and they find it and they say, oh, there's a problem, it's insurmountable. No, it's not insurmountable. It's just an excuse not to actually demonstrate your ability. If someone
Absolutely.
don't have money, he is not actually contributing. If someone have cancer, as I see Anita say,
Yeah.
to have cancer, there's one thing to have cancer, and number one, why do you have cancer and someone else don't have? That's a different story. But there's one thing to have cancer and another thing to cry about it. Okay, so you have cancer, everyone die at the end.
Hmm.
Everyone die. So at least be happy. And you will see that if you're happy, you will not get cancer.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Cancer attached to negative people. Generally,
Hmm.
you get sick when you are negative. You cannot be happy and sick. In old days, people knew that if you make someone laugh, he will be cured. If you
Hmm.
laugh enough, if you are happy enough, you cannot get any disease.
Hmm.
Prerequisite to getting a disease is to be miserable. You're first not productive, you convince yourself that you are useless, and then you get sick.
Yeah.
So you can say old age is the process of convincing yourself that you're miserable. Look what's happened to me.
Yeah. It's very, very, very powerful. That's amazing. And but how does somebody? I mean, I obviously can see it, right? And I know the general answer, but from your viewpoint, how does somebody get up and start to produce? Because it's very hard to get that momentum. Or if you even think about it on a physical level, somebody that hasn't gymmed for a long time and now decides to gym has a road ahead of them. It's not comfortable at the beginning. How do they get into that?
Okay, two options. Number one, knowledge. He can come to one of the seminars, he can come to the webinars, he can listen to free interviews and realize that maybe it's a better solution to start moving and
Hmm.
make and decide that the boss is back home. I am the
Yeah.
spirit is the boss, and you inform the body, look, the boss is home, and we are now going to put some order into this mess. That's
Hmm.
option number one, through knowledge.
Yeah.
Option number two is through responsibility. And what does it mean, responsibility? You can have responsibility by a decision, or you can have responsibility by you got so low that you will do something. You'll see that a person that get cancer and smoke, all of a sudden he get the good news, he got cancer. He decided, okay, fine, I'm going to stop smoking. That's a good news. Yes,
Yeah.
it's just a viewpoint.
Right, right. But I see because they got so low, such a bad condition. Now they make a decision. I gotta
Now,
stop smoking.
now they will stop smoking. Before that, they will tell you, "Oh, I cannot." They will cry, 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 tell you stories. I'm useless. I'm useless. I'm useless.
Yeah.
But if they get cancer, if it's like really bad, when they get really, really, really low, then the necessity level is high enough. And you understand, there was in old days when people had to fight for food, fight for living, fight for anything. No one sat down and said, "Oh, I'm tired.
Hmm.
No, I need to watch Netflix." No, you don't. You need to go to hunt. You go to hunt.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you die.
Hmm.
So the necessity level was high.
Right.
So you can see that the more people consume entertainment, the more useless they become. I can check a person account on his phone, how much time he wastes on his screen, and I can tell you how useless he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
A person is as useless as he consume entertainment instead of providing entertainment. Useless
Absolutely.
people consume entertainment, successful people provide entertainment.
Right. Now, by the way, on that note, wouldn't it be incorrect to some level for somebody to provide entertainment because then you make somebody else useless by them consuming it?
Yeah, but my entertainment that I provide it as a product of value,
Yeah.
not entertainment as corrupting. Like I'm not giving you drugs, I'm giving you food. That's something
Yeah.
else.
Yes. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So, of value, of course. And
Yeah.
JJ said some people play a game of finding their ruin before they change anything. Just a game they want to play, sadly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they wait for that point.
it's if they do that, they don't want to play. That's the point. They don't know that they're playing it. Most people, most of the time, don't actually know what they are doing.
Hmm. Hmm.
When someone say "I want," is because he doesn't know what he want. Because
Yeah.
a spirit don't want. A spirit decide. There's no wanting. When a
Right.
person say, "Oh, I feel like I don't like that," this is already a person that died. This is like way below, somewhere towards the end. You want or you feel, etc. A person, a spirit, don't like or feel or want. The spirit just act for no reason at all. Boom, and
Hmm.
makes everyone like what just happened.
Hmm. It's a totally different way of operating. Nobody thinks with that. Nobody. That's amazing.
But they need to come to the seminars.
Yes, 100%. Byron asked, what about childhood cancer? How can we understand this phenomenon?
If you don't live once, then it's very easy to understand. But if you think that you live once, then you don't understand anything because
I
you
think
just
that's
come up. There's no prior cause, but in the physical universe, there's always prior cause. So all of a sudden you say, There's a physical universe and everything has reason for it. But a child born and he has no reason from the past. Nonsense. There's prior cause, there's past life, and because this past life, you don't have your own life. You have cancer.
Mhm,
Right.
yeah. That's why it's so vital for people to join the past lives seminar, even for this reason, is because it's not about this life. It's about, and it's not even about the past. It's about now, and it's about what happens if you don't, because then you come back in another life with a child with cancer because you didn't handle this life or the previous ones.
Exactly.
We'll talk
You
about
know,
that, but
one of the difficult or the strange things that happen is we take people and we help them. So I have this student that when I met that student, they had really terrible life. Just they had a terrible life. The husband just someone that was supposed to marry them just canceled the marriage, stole the money. They were sick. They were depressed, like really bad. And today they're married and have their own business, and the husband is very rich and very successful, and they're very successful. And of course, because they study, all of everything changed for them. So I don't know, from the age up to the age of 30, everything went down, 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 down. They met me, or that person met me, and everything started to go up, 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 up. And now the person come to me and say, "But you know, Mayor, but I wanted to make $1 million and I made only 600." And I said, "Okay, fine. You didn't make 600. What you made is all the minus plus 600.
mhm,
And what you made is all the things that didn't happen, all the other disaster that happened to you in the past 30 years that stopped happening to you and have good things happen to you." So the value of improving, of doing what, of learning what we're teaching is something that you have a chance now to learn those things. It will never come back.
mhm,
It is so important to learn now, 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 because Earth at this moment in time is at the on the brink of major disaster, and only those people that will know will survive, and
yeah,
it won't be many. Only the spirit that will know will survive. It's not the people with the muscles or with the guns that will survive, because you will not, your body will not survive. You
mhm,
will survive, but only few. All the rest will be jailed and tormented. So it's
amazing,
really
and it's so important, and it's really amazing because it's hard to fathom what hasn't yet happened, and so that's the
the next thing that will happen will be something that will look like natural disaster, but it's coming. What about a person regretting past mistakes or past failure? It is something hard to stop blaming myself for things I didn't handle. It is kind of makes me caution. Yes, the more caution you have, the worse you will make things. So if you want to improve, stop being cautious. And really, if it happened, it happened. The fact that you will say that you regret, you don't really regret it. Why? At zero time, you've done what exactly you thought is the right thing to do. So now you've done something that you thought that this is exactly what you were supposed to do at that moment. And a second later, you say, "Oh, I regret." No, you're adding a line now. You don't regret, but you don't consider that you can change what happened. So you say, "Oh, I regret." You don't actually, no one actually regret, because regret is a lie. Why? Because you do at zero time what you consider with the data in front of you the most accurate thing.
mhm,
So don't regret. Be willing to win and lose with the same level of enthusiasm. Forget yesterday and create your tomorrow. Who cares about yesterday? The past is past. It's gone. The past is not there. So why do you
mhm,
regret something that do not exist? It's cuckoo. To regret the past is to regret something that do not exist. Like imagine that you have a
Yeah.
car that evaporated and you regret that you don't have it. It does not exist. There's nothing to regret. It's the past. And if you continue to regret, you make sure that the past will not pass. That's cuckoo. End of cycle. There is an expiration date. There is a statute of limitation on any things that happen in the past. 20 minutes past, statute of limitation is gone. Next, we're creating something new. You want to enjoy 20 minutes. If you are really wanting to enjoy your past, I'll give you a day. Otherwise, statute of limitation. Next, stop crying, stop being a baby, move forward.
Yes.
It sounds tough, but it's tougher what you're doing to hold this bag of nonsense all your life because something that because you're lying that you regret, you don't regret. At zero time, you do exactly what you thought is right. You never made ever mistake in your life because at zero time, based on the data that you had, you did the best that you could.
Hmm.
And if you start to think otherwise, you'll become more useless and you'll make more mistakes and you'll have more regrets and you'll go down and down and down and you'll damage everyone around you. So it's about time that enough. 20 minutes. If you really want to enjoy the sadness of whatever, of the lies, take a day, two, but come on.
Wow, you're being really generous.
Yes.
But that's really powerful, and I think one of the main breakthroughs or things that you've said is that whole concept of the past has passed if you let it pass. And most people don't let the past pass. They keep the past now. It's constantly now, but it's not even here, but they make the past now. Hmm.
So they're adding
Yeah.
lie on top of lie on top of lie every day.
Yeah.
My dad wrapped me by the edge of tree. Okay, fine. He wrapped you at the edge of tree. Thank you very much. Next.
Hmm.
That's it. How much nonsense can you make out of it?
Yeah.
How much can you cry over it? It's happened. Gone. Next. 3 years and 1 second. Gone. Next.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Which
gone.
most people don't do, but most people aren't successful. Most people are wallowing
That's
in
right.
their past.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they get stuck at the edge of tree, and
Yeah.
then they don't understand that they use it as entertainment.
Hmm.
It's a substitute for actual creation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a substitute for creation. And they just said, oh, look what happened to me. Like they
Yeah.
have this, look what happened to me. I was raped by the edge of tree. What happened to you? Oh, you just been hit by the edge of tree. So you are not, it's not serious. Come on,
Hmm.
nonsense. It's like a
Yeah.
medal. What happened to me? Nonsense.
Amazing and very tough for a lot of people to hear, but very true. And it's what makes you tough. It's what makes the average person able, if they apply this, to get out and to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, at the beginning, you said, when you have a problem and you don't know how to handle it, why would you kind of keep messing with it? But that's what most people do. And then they become a problem to themselves. Most people have a problem that they don't know how to handle, and all is swim around in it. And it just becomes a bigger and bigger problem. How do they get out of that, number one? And at what point do you become a problem to yourself?
Yeah. So the key is not if you know how to handle it or not. You need to decide that you can handle it. You don't need to know how to handle it. How do you handle a problem? Once you know how to handle it, it's worth for you to look at it. Otherwise, it doesn't work for you. And how do you look? How do you handle a problem? By looking at all the component parts of the problem. When you look at the problem, not the solution, and the problem, and the problem. You look at the problem. You look, and you really look at all the parts and all the parts and all the parts and all the parts, and all of a sudden, boom, you have a solution. It's like in these detective movies that they look at some video again and again and again and again, and you look with them and you don't see, and all of a sudden they notice something that you did not notice, and but it's there, and you say, wow, how did they see that? Because you look, they didn't look for a solution, they look at the data, you look and look and look and look and look, and all of a sudden there will be a solution. But prerequisite is why this detective continue to look and the others say, oh, he's crazy, because the prerequisite is to know that there is a solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you know there's a solution, it's worth looking at the problem. If you know there's no solution, it's not worth it. Why? Because in any case, you'll be right. You're going to be right. If you decide that there is a solution, you'll be right. There will be a solution. And if you decide there's no solution, you will be right. There will not be a solution. You never are going to be wrong. That I can tell you for sure.
Yeah. Amazing. I like that example though, of watching like a detective, the movie again and again, or the problem again and again and again. And while I think you've already kind of answered this already, well, or just before, let me read here what it says. So JJ said, "Let me tell you, if people were told there is a nuke going off in their village tomorrow, they would immediately forget their past and suddenly become spirit again. Yeah, the necessity
Exactly.
level would be so high that they'd kick into gear."
Yeah.
And Anita wrote, "Who controls the past controls the future. Who
False.
controls the present controls the past."
Bullshit.
Yeah.
If I control the past, it means the past is important. Nonsense. Who create the present. All the rest is nonsense. The past is a lie and the future will never arrive.
Yeah, exactly.
The past is a lie, so there's nothing. What do you want to control a lie? How can I control a lie? It's a lie. The past is gone, it's a lie. And the future will never arrive because the future is always in the future. So the only thing that you can is create the moment, create present time. Actually, the definition of the word present time is the span of time that you have absolute control over.
Yes.
And the span of time is before time, but that's a different thing.
For another day. Okay, what I was going to say really quickly, and I think you've already sort of touched upon this, but just in case there's another answer. How or at what point does somebody become a problem to themselves? As what point do they become a flesh-eating monster to themselves? You get what I mean?
Yeah. So, few things. So, all the problems that a person have is not his problems.
What do you mean?
So, let's look. A person have a problem that he owes money. It's not his problem. He owe money to someone else. A person have a problem with his body. It's not his problem. It's his body problem. The body die, not him. A person have a problem with his mother. It's not a problem. Child is crying and okay.
Uh, Chai, I'll be back soon. I'll be back on Friday, and I'll take care of Chai.
I hope he will stay alive until then.
Yes, exactly. Uh, well done for putting up with him.
Yeah. So a problem is always someone else's problem. It's not your problem.
Yeah,
Number one, to understand. It's really weird, but if you will
yeah,
actually look at that, you'll see that you always get involved in someone else's problem. Quite amazing.
that is.
So the first thing is the problem is always someone else's problem, yes? And the
Yeah,
second thing is that when a person get convinced falsely that he is weak, which means someone showed him you failed, you failed, you failed, you failed. You need to regret, you need to ask for forgiveness, you need to be careful. You failed, you failed, you failed. Once someone convinces you enough time that you need to be careful because you failed, because you are useless, you stop creating and you do the opposite of creating, which is destroying. So you become spirit, the problem, instead of spirit, the creator. Are you with
yeah,
me?
100% with you. 100%. Yeah, I see. Okay, and that's the game changer
Yeah.
because essentially then that handles it. That knowledge
Yeah.
gives you that control. Amazing. Were you going to say something else?
No, I think
Okay. Okay. So then the last thing before we wrap up, the Body and Past Lives seminar, it's happening in Canada in 3 weeks, something around the corner. Um, People that haven't seen that or don't know what it's all about, can you give a 1 minute blurb about what that seminar is all about?
okay. So the seminar is called Past Life and Your Body. Now, many people, or I think all people, at one point or another, wanted to improve their life, and they looked for a way it could be the Tao, which is the way, or it could be some kind of a road to freedom, or it can be religion, or it can be many things. People try to find a way to improve themselves. And what they didn't notice is that all those ways are not their way. And when you go to get freedom, but the road is not your own road, it doesn't lead you to where you want to or where you need to be. So
Hmm.
you basically, all those roads to freedom led you to hell. And what I say is that there's only way, the only way to freedom is your way. You need to discover your way. You cannot have someone giving you their way. It's not Buddhism and it's not any ism and it's not anything else.
Hmm.
The only way to find your freedom is to find your way.
Yeah.
Your way. So the first thing is you need to understand that now, in order to find your way, you need to learn why you didn't. Why don't you go and simply find your way? Why you are so mixed up? Why you're doing so many things that are not so good for you and for others? And and the basic idea is that if you take a game, if you look at life as the game,
Yeah.
and imagine that you have a game, and in this game, there's two teams in the game, and there is a referee, and there is the crowd, and there is management. And imagine that someone poisoned one of the groups, one of the sides, one of the teams, but the
Hmm.
team doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
And the other team was also poisoned. So when they go onto the field to play, they're both
Mhm.
poisoned. They're both really not actually able to play. So instead of playing one against each other, they start to play one. They start to fight internally. And imagine that the referee also been poisoned, and the crowd was poisoned, and management was poisoned, and everyone is poisoned. And all of a sudden, the game become an insane game. And this is what's happening in life. And before you find this poison, what poison you, and before you get an antidote to this poison, you will never improve.
Hmm.
That's why it's so difficult for people to actually get up and do things. That's why it's so easy for people to consume entertainment, because the poison tell them that the effect, the best thing for them to be, is an effect.
Hmm. Yeah.
So in this seminar, we're going to handle past lives, and that will allow you to really realize how the body works, and so handle the body and use the body as a tool and not serve the body as a servant.
Right. Right.
And that's the general idea, or the general thing about past life and how they are and what we're doing with them, etc., etc.
Amazing. Amazing. Now, by the way, on that note, what if somebody is religious, Buddhist, and they want to come to the seminar, but you're saying, look, it's not about your that path, it's about your way.
Yeah, but the purpose of religion is to give you an ethics code, to give you a code of conduct, to make sure that you don't stray and do things that you will be sorry for. The purpose of religion is a wonderful thing if it's not run by men that try to get your money, or
Yeah. Control
or
you,
punish
demand how
you,
you live, punish you.
or
Yeah.
tell you what to do or how to think, and so on. So religion is a wonderful thing. It kept mankind going for a long time. And without religion, or anyone that destroy religion, destroy you, mankind. So I'm totally for religion, but I think that you personally, spiritually, need to find your way.
Hmm. So you
There
can be a
is no,
Buddhist, but you can have it with a viewpoint of
there
way
is a
nonetheless.
there is God, there is a creator for sure. There's no question about it. But you need to find your way out. because at the end you act according to your ideas, not God ideas. At the end, you act according to you. You define it. And when you try to act according to someone else's ideas, someone else's road, you always end up in a ditch.
Amazing. Amazing. That's super powerful and such a great explanation, as always. And by the way, on this site that's on the screen, which is gprosperity.com/past lives, there are 3 webinars there that are up for free. They're packed with gold. You're going to watch them and be with your jaw dropped on the things that you cover there and the breakthroughs you presented. And it's just amazing.
Yeah,
It's there. Go check it out. Ours, if you've seen it, I recommend you watch it again. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you watch it once and then again. And it's just available to you there. And if you want to join in Canada, highly recommended. But start with going to that site and checking those out.
it's really amazing. You should be, if you want to really release yourself from the invisible jail that you are in, you should be there. There's
Yeah,
nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing more important than that. Nothing.
absolutely. Amazing. And this was amazing. This will change
Amazing.
anybody's life, business, money, health. This was amazing. So thank you.
Mwah. I love you. Bye bye.
I love you, and thanks to everyone that was on. That was great.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you maybe next Tuesday. We'll see how I'm progressing with the
Yeah.
seminar.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
All right.
Mwah, mwah.
Bye,
Love
guys.
you.
Mwah.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.